This is Bundeena, a tiny little town in Sydney. It's got a population of about 2,000 people, and the only way to get there by car is through the Royal National Park. But did you know you can get to this town via a ferry? That's right. Once an hour, a ferry goes from Cronulla to Bundeena and back, which takes you back to the mainland of Sydney. But there's also a little bit of Australia's history hiding in plain sight here, because this ferry route is home to the oldest commuter ferry in Australia. It also happens to be one of my favourite routes here in Sydney. Incredibly scenic, awesome terrain, and it's a really, really nice vibe. We're going to ride all the way down to Royal National Park, catch the ferry back, and then we're going to go to one of the nicest lookouts, which is over at Kurnell. About 5:30 AM right now, and I've managed to rope in a few of my friends as well. This time I'm going to have a little bit of help with the cameras. We better get moving because I need to meet them at Sydney Harbour Bridge. This is riding 120 kilometres to catch the oldest ferry in Australia. You never played RuneScape before, mate? Alright, so we've got a little bit of a time crunch today. I want to get on the first ferry that leaves from Bundeena to Cronulla, and it leaves at 9 AM. Why do I want to do this? Well, to be honest, they come every hour, so I don't really want to do the 10 o'clock one. Traffic gets way worse the later you get in the day, and it's just kind of nice being on the first ferry of the day. Thanks, mate. It's not an impossible task. We do need to get cracking. So what exactly is the task at hand? To get to Bundeena, it's about a 60-kilometre ride, and to get there, we're going to have to go over the harbour bridge, through the city, down past the airport, along the beaches at Brighton, then through Royal National Park. When we get into Royal National Park, we'll have our first big descent of the day, quickly followed by a really short but steep climb. And then my favourite part of the ride, which is riding down to Bundeena, but we'll save that for later in the video. 60 kilometres in 3 hours is quite doable, and in the back of my mind I'm thinking every extra minute saved is an extra minute we can have at the cafe before we get on the ferry. But let's not get ahead of ourselves thinking about hot food. We still need to get through the CBD of the city and onto the other side of the airport. So let's go. Though there's a little bit of stop-starting in the city, it's always nice to ride through this early in the morning, seeing other people going off to their bike rides and also seeing people finishing up from the night of clubbing. Another big reason why you want to start early is because we've got a section here along the motorway. You definitely don't want to be here when it's busy with cars. It's busy enough as it is at this time. So we made our way down Southern Cross Drive, past the airport, underneath the tunnel to get to the south side of Sydney.
We're making some seriously good time here behind this bunch. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of an overcast day. There's been some speckles of rain. It's about almost 7 o'clock now, and typically the sun would be up and you have a beautiful sunrise over the Sydney Harbour to my left. But not today. But hoping the rain holds off and we end up having a good ride.
No sooner do I say that, but then a few minutes later, it started to sprinkle. It got a little bit heavier after that, to the point where the ground was wet and we were getting road spray splashed onto our faces. Usually I wouldn't be annoyed by something as small as this, but being wet and cold in the middle of winter is not so nice. And there's a couple of other little things that were niggling away at me that I hadn't mentioned before. Things that in isolation probably are no big deal, but when a few of them stack up with each other, I was having a day. These things are entirely my own fault, but I left home and my head unit wasn't charged up, so usually I like to look at my power just to know that I'm pacing myself well, but flying blind. And then the next one was I indulged a bit too much in a few beers the night before, got home quite late, and my tried and true technique of drinking lots of water when I got home wasn't working anymore, so I had a bit of a dull headache. I sound like a bit of a downer putting this in the video, but I just want to be honest with how I was feeling on this ride. My legs were heavy and my head just wasn't quite in it yet. For me, riding my bike, going on adventures, and spending time with my friends is great for my mental health. I love that making YouTube videos and being creative feels like I'm part of the cycling community, and I get to be part of that and show you guys my stories. But as you can see in this video, not everything goes to plan. Sometimes the legs don't feel great, sometimes it's just cold, wet and rainy, and everything just feels a bit depressing. It can be a bit frustrating when the activity that usually gives you solace doesn't. And maybe you can relate to this feeling of disappointment. Well, one of the best ways to get over it is to talk to someone, and that's where today's video partner comes in. BetterHelp. BetterHelp provides online therapists who will ask you questions, listen to you, and also provide advice on how to make positive changes in your life. To match you with your best fit therapist, there's an online questionnaire, and if you feel like you need to change therapists, you can do this at any time with no extra cost. BetterHelp has over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 star rating on Trustpilot. So, if this is something that you think can help you, there's a 10% discount code in the description below for your first month, and I'll also put it up on the screen. If you're struggling right now, whether it be in your life or in your bike ride, I hope things work out for you. Thank you very much, BetterHelp, for partnering up for this video, and let's get into the rest of the ride.
And we are finally at Royal National Park, about to turn into it. So the ground's a bit wet though, we've got a pretty steep descent coming up, which is making me a little bit nervous. It should be pretty nice and quiet apart from the occasional car. Lots of trees, wildlife, and some good views. There's also a bunch of mountain biking and gravel trails here. Something for every single discipline of cycling.
Alright, we're going up the first and only climb of the day, thankfully. This is Artillery Hill, and my gosh, this one's a doozy. When I was a new cyclist and I did this hill, and this is when I realized how important gearing is. Having enough gears to get up the steep gradients like this. I'm already maxed out on my gears. Others are powering today. Look at them, they're already like 100 meters up the road. All right, Little ride update, 43k. It is 7:45. So we got an hour and 15 minutes to get to the ferry. What did you got? Hold that. The camera honestly doesn't do justice to the Royal National Park. We're surrounded by vast bushland on either side. We're up along a ridge here, so you can just see a plateau of landscape around you. And in the video, all you can really hear is the wind and the sound of carbon moving through the air. But when you're in the park, you can hear the birds, you can hear the wind moving through the trees. And it's places like this that remind me why I love riding so much. We quickly made our way through a bunch of rolling hills until we got to
the Bundeena Turn Off. Woo!
Alright, now that we've reached the Bundeena Turn Off, I get to tell you about one of my favourite cycling segments in the whole world. I love this segment. The road pavement is absolutely perfect. It's about 9 kilometers, and here's the best part. It's negative 1.4%. Just enough downhill where you can pick up a lot of speed, but you still get to press on the pedals and feel like you're putting in some work. This section is just so much fun, ripping it up with a bunch of mates. And the icing on the cake, because we catch the ferry out of Bundeena, we never have to climb up this hill again. It doesn't get better than that.
Made it to Bundeena with some time to spare, so I think we've earned a coffee. Earned a bit of hot food as well. This is Alfonso's first time doing the route. What do you think of that section?
Nice, it'd been better if it wasn't wet, but amazing.
I need a coffee and I need hot food. Look at these tiny little Vegemite jars. This little cafe stop was definitely the turning point in the ride for me. The sun came out, it was a bit warmer. I took my shoes off to let my socks dry out, and sometimes getting a hot coffee and some hot food inside you just makes everything feel right. I digged into this Goslima's, but Alfonso had other ideas and he seemed to splurge a little bit.
Movies? Yeah. It's the Bradley caramelized banana.
There's like an ice cream on there. Oh man, if I was bloated before from all the beers, I'm like pregante now. Absolutely, I'm like gonna split a seam. Usually I like clean house every time, but today I'm just, I don't know, I'm out of sorts today. But now it's time to finally get to the point of this video, to go and ride the oldest ferry in Australia. The ferry stop was only about 100 meters away, and it's at this beautiful, pristine beach. The sensation of the sun warming you up after you've been cold and wet all morning was just sublime. And because we got here a little bit early, we had a few minutes just to look and enjoy the scenery. That might even be the ferry over there. All right, so we're at Bundeena Wharf. Absolutely cracking day now that the sun is out. Ferry's coming in about 10 minutes. So this ferry route has been around since 1915. It's been in operation since 1915. One of the oldest ferry routes. And here's a fun fact for you. One, it's operated by, I think there's 4 different ferries that travel on the route. And one of them is actually the oldest operating ferry in Australia. It was built in 1939, which makes it almost 100 years old. Just like maybe that quick math, 86 years old. It's had some refurbishments since then, but you'll see it soon. It's like a small wooden ferry not that long, maybe only about 15-20 meters long, so it can't carry that many people. The ferry, the oldest one, is called Kurnell, and it's named after one of the rowboats that they used to when they charted and discovered this area here. So there you go, a little bit of history. I've done this route a couple of times, so when I saw the ferry coming up to the wharf, it wasn't long before I recognised that it wasn't the Kurnell, the ferry that we were looking for. This one had a slightly different name, and I could tell that the boat was slightly different configured as well. It was a little bit of a shame to see that we weren't going to be getting on the Kurnell, but I was keen to have a chat to the crew to see what was happening with that boat. If you want to ride on this ferry with your bike, you just need to pay a concession ticket for the bike, which is like another $5 or so. And something to be mindful of as well is that the ferry's quite small, so if there's a lot of people getting on, it can be quite cramped. Luckily for us on this morning, I think there was only about 4 or 5 people on the ferry, including us. When the crew member came over to us to collect our tickets, I had a little chat to him about what was happening with the Kurnell, and I recorded this interview. But unfortunately, the sound of the engine was so loud you couldn't really pick up what he was saying. But pretty much what he told us was we missed out on riding the Kurnell by 2 days. Currently, it's in the dry dock, just getting some maintenance, repairs. This is all routine work, and it's pretty much taken out of action for about 2 weeks in an entire year. So we're actually very close to being able to ride it. With that being said though, the boat that we were on did have its own little bit of history, and when I asked him about it, he showed me this plaque right here. So while not as old as the Kurnell, which was built in 1939, the Tom Thumb is doing pretty good for its age. We sat back, enjoyed the rest of the ferry ride, looked out the window at some of the beautiful houses which are along the water. And I also mentally prepared myself for the rest of the ride, because I did tell you this is 120 kilometers and we've only gone 60 so far. Thank you. Have a good day. Hey guys, if you've made it 17 minutes 40 into this video and you are enjoying it and you're not subscribed yet, well, this is your chance to subscribe. And for all of you who've been subscribed for a long time, who've been watching my videos from the start, I really, really appreciate it. I probably don't say it enough, but you guys honestly motivate me so much. Reading your lovely comments really makes me want to make better videos, bring you along on more interesting adventures, and just tell my story. So I just want to thank you guys for that. Anyway, the rest of this ride is going to be quick and fast. We've got some really nice flat terrain, and with any luck, we'll have a little bit of a tailwind. We're going to quickly make our way out of Cronulla towards Kurnell and to Cape Solander. My feet are still wet and it's been like hours. So this is Cape Solander. It's featured in a lot of my videos, but I've never been here before this late in the day, and look how many people are here. It's a very popular whale watching spot, A couple of people here have binoculars, and I think it must be really popular here today because there must be a few whales. So how about we go and try and spot one?
After enjoying the sun for a bit longer, sloping down a gel or two and allowing my feet to properly dry this time, it's about time.
Time to go home.
And here's the rest of the route that we need to do to get home. We need to leave Kurnell, go over Captain Cook Bridge, ride back along Brighton Sands, back underneath the airport tunnel, through the city, over the harbour bridge, and then we're pretty much home. My cameras are running out of battery, so let's get this done quickly.
We are back at Sans Souci. My Ace Pro 2's battery is almost running out, and the gilets are coming off, the arm warmers are coming off, everything's coming off because it's proper warm now. Oh yeah, look, traffic for days. Look at that.
And just when I thought all the dramas were done for the day, before we got into the airport tunnel, I was fiddling with the Insta360 X5 to turn it on, and I noticed that it was wobbling around a lot. Because it's directly behind me, I can't see it, but definitely it shouldn't be moving around like that. So we pulled over to the side of the road. Luckily there was a little pull-in bay here because there was cars flying past, and it turns out one of the screws had just completely decided to disappear. Thankfully, I was wearing cargo bibs, I had lots of extra pockets, so I dismantled it quickly, popped it in my pockets, and then I took the X5 and put it on the selfie stick. I feel quite lucky that I picked up on it when I did, because if it was flailing around, it might have hit a car or caused an accident, or I would have damaged an expensive camera, which wouldn't have been nice either. So for the rest of this ride through the city, it's just going to be me hand holding the X5, and hopefully you enjoy the footage.
We're riding past the airport right now. You can see, look, massive planes, Virgin, Qatar, Qantas.
We're on the south side of the city. We need to make our way through the city, which is going to be quite slow this time of the day especially. Probably about half an hour, 45 minutes to get home from here.
Funny how all the things I was upset about at the start of the ride now seemed like a silver lining. With no battery on my head unit, I got to look around and enjoy my surroundings more. Feeling a bit tired in the legs gave me an opportunity just to sit in the draft and let my friends flex their superior fitness on me. And sometimes having to withstand some cold and rain makes you really appreciate the blue skies. Thank you very much guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This one took me quite a while to put together, so thank you for your patience and waiting for it to come out. We are on the cusp of getting to 20,000 subscribers, so thank you everyone for joining me on this adventure. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.